All rise for the pledge allegiance to the flag and a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I'd like to remind everybody to please turn off your cell phones. Okay, roll call.
Chris Dabrowski.
Here.
Donna Mosier.
Here.
Eileen Dunn.
Here.
Bill Heidenreich.
Here.
Rick.
Here.
Barry Burgess.
Here.
Lemaine Knifert.
Here.
Ed Wayner.
Here. Proof of notice? Yeah.
Notice was posted Monday,
48 hours prior.
48 hours, yeah, Monday.
Okay, disposition of prior meetings, prior meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
Moving second.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, treasurer's report,
As filed.
motion to accept as
I move
passed out.
I move we accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Do we have a second? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Question on the treasurer's report?
Is there, can you tell me
Mike.
what, I was just, no, hello?
No.
Hello? Not working. The only thing I asked, I don't know, is, can you explain why the total for the current month of the operating accounts is up by just about 175,000? You know what caused that?
Yeah, my belief that that's caused by, we're in July, this is a July report, and that's the first of the year, and of course, collections are very heavy coming in. Is that, Jack? Is
Yeah,
that-
there would be the
dues?
first payments, yes.
It's the first month, no. Yeah, not gonna.
Could you like do that every month?
No, raising dues.
Okay.
So it's the result of a lot of people don't pay it by the month, they pay it yearly.
Correct.
So
You
they
get a
all
lot
pay
of money up
theirs.
front.
And so
That's correct.
Thank you.
And there,
You can't hear this one?
I hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear Rick?
Okay.
So.
I have Ed's up.
Mine wasn't working.
she took mine, I couldn't speak in it. Okay, manager's report.
Test. Okay, starting out, I just wanted to say that Mark and his team did a great job with the hurricane preparation. Took them 2 days worth of work to get everything set up and put away. It only took them 1 day to get everything back out and opened up again. So they did a real great job. And I'm sorry that the pool was not open by 9 o'clock the next morning. We had to make sure the chemicals were right. We had all the safety equipment back out. Took a little bit of time. All right, the last section of the seawall over by the gazebo, that repair has been finished. They pumped in the foam, they put in the drains in the walls. That project is now complete. The oven in the kitchen has had a new thermostat installed, which is working perfectly now. They were evidently having problems not maintaining temperature, that's not food, so we're all good to go on that. We had to have a piece of the fitness equipment need some alignment. The pins weren't aligning up properly. They took care of it rather quickly. The stump grinding of the palmettos over by the tennis courts in the bocce board area was completed on September 7th. The removal of the large oak that the board approved at the last meeting is scheduled for the 21st, it's tomorrow. I contacted the county regarding the erosion out there on 52 of the slope that was covering the sidewalk with sand. Come to find out that is Florida Department of Transportation property. Made contact with them. They came out, cleaned off the sidewalk, said they will come back at a later date and do some erosion control to repair that bank to stop that from happening again. According to the county, the installation of the traffic calming devices for Ponderosa should be installed at the beginning of October. I'm sure you've seen the signs out on the property with the black covering them, which is an indication of where the speed humps are going to be. And I just hope it doesn't turn into a drag race from speed hump to speed hump. And maybe it will deter a lot of the drives you cut through.
Is that another word for speed bumps?
Speed hump is what they're calling it. They're traffic control devices. Traffic calming devices is what they're actually called. The county is also promising some kind of response to our concern about the storm drain running underneath the parking lot on the tennis court side. I had to put in a records request with the county to get a copy of the actual video. The video does show where the camera dove into the water. There's evidently some kind of a dip in the pipe and they can't see what's going on in that area because it's underwater. They're supposed to be sending some representatives out here. I had to take a look at it. I asked to be there to be involved with it. And I know this whole thing is holding up the paving project because we don't want to do any paving until we know the substrate and the pipes underneath are all good. So I'll keep everybody up to date on that. The cleaning of the kitchen is scheduled for this Friday. We signed up with Apex Cleaning to go ahead and do it. Contacted several other companies. 2 others came out. They returned in a bid, so we went ahead and went with Apex on that one. Also, I contacted the shingle manufacturer, GAF, and had them write up a spec for the community center roof replacement. The spec has been sent to 3 different GAF elite installers for their pricing. I'm also requesting quotes on using metal instead of shingles. We will have quotes both ways. So we're still working on that. There's going to be 2 options, the shingle and the metal for the shingle portion of the roof, and also redoing the flat roofs with the TPO product, which has an insulation that slopes that directs the water. But as we get those together, I will present it to the board. I've also contacted 3 different engineering firms to quote writing the spec for the repaving of the parking lot. Once we choose the engineer, then we can send it out to several different paving companies for bids. So far, 2 of the engineers have recommended taking core samples of the parking lots to see, like over here, to see what the issue is with the underlying road base. So, and another one is recommending also taking a survey for drainage purposes. That's only going to be around $1,500 to $1,800, but they just want to make sure all these issues are addressed before they write the spec to pave the parking lot. Okay, I contacted 3 Seasons about replacing the lantana flowers out here on the front island, which they have finally done so with a little urging. The geothermal on the pool acted up again on September 5th, but Mark, after consulting the contractor, they were able to get the system back online. I've contacted a reserve study vendor for the proposal for an update since the last study was done in 2017. This is an agenda item for you folks. Mark continues to replace the lighting in here with the LED lighting, and I think he's just about done with it. As far as violations are concerned, as of Monday, there were 104 open. Of that, 87 were first notices, 14 were second notices, 3 were final notices, and we had 74 resolved violations. And the violation letters is also on the agenda for discussion as well.
Donna? Oh, Chris, I'm sorry.
Jack, there was a slope put in the flat roof when it was done, I think 15. I was involved with that.
Okay, well, they're just gonna redo that.
Yeah.
With the TPO type roofing. Make sure they have proper drainage.
Yes.
I have a question on your deed restrictions. Does the lady come under you? I mean,
Well,
who is she responsible to?
Well, we cooperate on what's being
Okay,
done out there, and I've asked her to,
we had a committee that had gotten together, and one of our recommendations to her was to go into a village and you're doing, let's say, the driveways at a certain time of year. You do everybody's driveway before you finish that village, so that you're not doing this guy's driveway and you skip that one.
no, she goes
That's the
by,
way she's supposed to be doing.
well, yeah, she does it one village at a time.
But when you look at these pictures that come, this is, a few months now, and I see, well, some people get it for the lawn, some people get it for this, so it doesn't appear that she's doing it that way.
Well, and she doesn't when she goes out, she doesn't strictly look for one thing. She's observing for a dirty roof, a dirty sidewalk, lack of maintenance on the property or the shrubbery. She's looking for all of it while she's out there, but she does go through one village at a time. Now, I have asked her to step up and be a little more, shall I say, stern on the deed restriction enforcement, because this is a deed restricted community and we need to enforce it.
The idea was to go into one village, was to go into a village and focus on one thing at a time. Then if there's other things,
That's what she's doing, Eileen. We go through them every week, and I go through all of them. She does driveways all in one village, but if she sees other violations, she notes them. That's what she's been doing.
She's focused on at least one
Yes.
thing per village.
Yeah. Oh, I can ask you later.
Ellen.
Right, bro?
Leave it to me to play. Do I have to push a
Yeah.
button?
Got a rescue or a record?
Anybody there? Okay. Now let me break it legally. Okay, Ellen Baldwin, 6197. Or whatever. She knows where she lives. 10602 Springwood. Jack, you were saying about the speed humps or the traffic deterrents, or whatever you were calling them, and it's stopping the cut through. There is no sign showing a hump is going anywhere between Ranch Road and the clubhouse. And that's where we have a lot of the cut throughs coming between Ranch Road and Maricopa or
And Maricopa.
yeah,
Maricopa.
yeah, just
Did you
Maricopa right
publish
out
the
here.
locations? Are you publishing the locations in the October?
I'm trying to get it in there, yes.
Yeah.
Well, looking at the signs that are posted, there are no signs at all between those two locations where we're having the most issues.
Well, the county's the one that decided the location on these. I
We
mean,
should have had input.
They were supposed to go between the stop signs of the 3 roads that come in. That's what we had talked about. And they're definitely, we need them in that spot. That's too long, and that's where they zoom in and out. So we'll have to look at that. Thanks for bringing it up.
How many did they promise us?
5.
Which is 5, I thought it was 6.
You want me to pull the,
I
let me
think
print it out?
5 is plenty between the stop signs, but we certainly need one between Ranch and
If I can make a suggestion, my husband and I were watching things with it, and a lot of people coming out of Monterey can't see the speeders coming over the hill. And the
Right.
people coming out of San Clemente had the same issue,
Yep.
because they're going so fast, and it's
Yeah.
just very hard.
Entrance and exit for that.
Yeah. And to me, that should have been where they should have been concentrating in that area, for the
Agree.
cut throughs, because that's what we were after, to get rid of the cut throughs. And hopefully 6 months out there, we won't have to pay for them, and it will stop the cut throughs. They'll get so fed up. with
We should have
having
3
them.
in that area.
We should have more there, right, in
Yeah,
that area,
that's terrible.
because that's the most dangerous portion.
We'll
Thank
look
you.
into that. Thank you.
Donna?
I just want to take this moment to say thank you to Jack. I have seen this manager's report go from just a couple of little items from our previous manager to almost a full page.
Okay, art committee? Ed Heber for the art committee. We received 17 proposals and 17 were okayed by the art committee. No rejections.
I make a motion that we accept the recommendation from the art committee.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay,
I'm sorry,
committee
Right,
report.
yeah, Jack, I made
I'm sorry,
copies for them.
this map is showing 7.
Mining committee?
No one asked you for it, let's see the location.
Liz Goodnow fines and suspension. On 9/20. Excuse me, on 9/12,
Publish it.
on 9/12, we had a hearing for one violation that was violated on, it was approved on the 9/20/23 board meeting. The violation was a civil behavior, and there was a unanimous vote to enforce the suspension of 90 days.
Thank you, Liz.
Okay. Violation was enforced.
Liz, did anyone come to fight this violation or?
Actually, the resident did not come to the hearing, but they did call in on the phone. And it was, okay.
Thank you.
Finance committee meeting?
Good afternoon, Patricia French Wisely for the Finance Committee, 7024-13A06. The meeting went very well. They have been streamlined. We only questioned the copy overage. It seemed really high for the last month that we were dealing with. Our meeting was on July 31st. And there was also a question about when was the last time kitchen propane was filled? Not the one in June, but before that. And we were just trying to figure out how much propane we were using. The next meeting will be on August 28th at 1 p.m. We have changed the time of the meeting, so they're always at 1 p.m. now. And I have 2 corrections. I spelled Chris Dabrowski's name wrong, and I listed her as the treasurer, not the board liaison, so I apologize, Chris, for that.
Okay, any questions for the finance committee?
And I do,
Yeah, you said the next meeting's August 28th.
September 28th. I shouldn't do this stuff at midnight. I won't admit to anyone. While I'm standing here, can I give you a brief update about Emergency Response Committee.
Okay.
We dodged a bullet. We really did, and we were very lucky. And what folks need to understand, when the decision is made, it's a 4-day project. The shutters, it's quite a project. And Jack was calling me on Monday morning at 8:01, and we decided to wait till 1 o'clock. And at 9 o'clock, we conferred again, and he had talked to you, and by 11 o'clock, we had decided to go for it, that we couldn't wait any longer, especially with our PM deciding to shut down Tuesday at 1 o'clock. A couple of people were in the pool, and they weren't happy Tuesday morning, but Jack handled it very, very nicely. And then at 11 o'clock, a lady came in and she was at the office, and Jack came out of his office to talk to her, and she was very upset. But folks don't understand how much work this project is. And they all did a really good job. And this was the first time Jack had the folder as to how we do it. And when he was here the last time, that wasn't in effect. And we would like to thank the board for realizing the emergency of the situation and giving us the go-ahead to go do that. The last time the board refused to, they said, we can't close the clubhouse. Our copay on insurance was $50,000. So when the water comes,
What was the lady complaining about?
that she couldn't get in the pool.
Oh.
And her comment was, well, why can't you wait till Wednesday to shut the place down?
Well, like I said, Mark's guys pulled it off in 2 days.
Yes, and I mean, that was nearly a miracle. They really worked hard, and it was very hot out there. I came and helped move little tables and stuff out of the pool, but once the safety equipment left the pool area, it had to be closed. And folks don't realize, even though the water looks clear after a storm, we have to test it to make sure it's not polluted by runoff or anything else that came in. So it is a huge project, and everyone cooperated and did a really nice job. Thank you.
Mr. President and Chairman and Jack, we do have, I call them an SOP, a booklet out that says exactly what to do. I think this is a good time, don't wait for next June. A good time for you and the committee chairman to get together and review that booklet and see what is still, you know, if that's still a good outline, or do you want to modify that?
I think it fairly well covers
Yeah.
everything.
It has been tweaked, and it was relatively easy. It was just, you start at one and you stop when you get to the end, and everybody cooperated. It was really a joint effort. And I'd also like to point out, when we go into this mode, it's an increased task for the office, because when people get that call that says we're closing the clubhouse and the pool, if they're not here, there's a lot of phone calls. Is my house all right? Is my house flooded? Do I have a roof? And there is increased traffic in the office. So it was a team effort to get this accomplished.
All right, thank you, Patty.
Can I address the storm situation?
Sure, got 3 minutes.
Karen Luciola, 8035 Casuarina Drive. I'd like to know if there's any way to get our community on board with preparing. We have people with tchotchkes in their yard, like 40 to 60 of them. We also have furniture that's left out from the people that leave for the summer. And we just don't have the preparedness in the community. And I'm wondering if there's any way to heighten and or change. When I moved here, you were allowed 5 objects in your front yard. That's it. Now it's a free-for-all. So I'm wondering if we can't do something to make our community safer for everyone during an actual storm.
Debbie, on the Zoom call list, what percentage of residents would you say that we have numbers for?
Jack, use the mic, please.
I'm asking Debbie on the telephone
Yeah, the email.
or email or the robocall or whatever you want to call it. What
Robocall-
percentage of phone
robocall?
numbers do we have?
For robocall, at least 40%.
About 40%. So you're still talking 60% that wouldn't even receive a message if we tried.
Right,
Put
but the
something
thing
out
about it is, if they knew prior to leaving for the summer that they were required to, by our community rules, to put up their lawn equipment or their lawn stuff, so it did not become a flying object during a storm for the residents that remain here year-round, that would be less problematic.
I
For
mean, we put
people that
something in
stay
the
here.
newsletter, obviously I could write an article to that effect.
But isn't there any way to put it into our rules? So this is not a suggestion, it's actually part of our community, being safe and secure for everyone who lives here year
That would
round.
be up to the board of directors if they want to implement something under those.
Something we can look into.
Okay, I look forward to hearing what you have to do.
Jerry Beers, president of Live Oaks. We're having, for the Christmas, you know how we decorate inside?
Yeah.
Live Oaks would like to have a lighting of a Christmas tree on the gazebo, so we're seeking permission to have a ceremony. Corlairs volunteers to sing some music, and we're gonna pass out hot chocolate and stuff to make it a ceremony on, I believe it's Tuesday night out there. So we're seeking permission to use.
Do you have a date?
Huh?
Do you know the date?
Tuesday after Thanksgiving. I don't have too much information.
I make a motion. Who said the date?
November 27th.
I make a motion that we allow Live Oaks to do a tree lighting with music on the lake on November 27th.
Music from the Corlairs. They volunteered.
Music from the Corlairs?
Yeah, so you'll be singing.
Well, music from Darla, because I'm in the Corlairs.
You're singing.
Okay.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you on behalf of
Carried.
the board, and the residents. And we have a few things coming up. We got the Oktoberfest coming up on the 7th, I believe. We have our standard Halloween dance. Tickets needed. If you want tickets, get them quick. I think we sold like 178. But thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Is someone here from the Veterans Committee? Veterans Committee
The monument?
for the monument?
Jennifer kept me abreast of it. Jennifer kept me abreast of it.
You want to address it?
Okay. First of all, Joe Bates, the concrete contractor, has generously donated all the concrete for the Veterans Monument. And that's a big savings in itself. And they have got a price for the flagpole, and we have a choice of 3 different sizes for the medallions of which will represent each branch of service, either 4, 5, or 6-inch medallions, and the price goes up with the size goes up. So you have a range of $8,900 to $14,500. And then the
Is that just for the medallions, Chris?
yeah, that's just for the medallions. And the flagpole is $2,800. And then they have different types of finishes for flags. So, it comes to a chunk of change.
Does the committee recommend one over another?
I didn't see where they recommended one over the other, but, the monument itself is gonna be like on a curve with the medallions. Not up and down.
Rick?
There's nobody here from the committee today. They have done a tremendous amount of work, and it looks like it's very good work. However, I noticed that all three of them are not veterans. And I think, and maybe they already have done this, I don't know, they're not here to answer questions.
Excuse me?
May I finish, please? And that I would like to have, is Darla a veteran? Good.
Yes.
Good. And, but I would recommend that we get somebody that is kind of an expert in this area. Then most of the time, your veterans associations will provide somebody who knows the lineage and different things to make sure we don't want to accidentally do something that's not supposed to be done. I can't find anything wrong with it, and I don't want to say there is, but I don't see the rush to try to pass this today when we don't have any of the committee members here to discuss it with. Thank you.
I was just gonna say Darla's a veteran.
I think it's great that we want to do the veterans thing, but this is an awful lot of money. I don't think any of us expected it to go this high. So maybe do what Rick said and check in with the Veterans Association or see what, what else we can do, because I think we're gonna have a lot of fight on this.
May we speak?
No, not till the board's done.
Okay.
Are they doing plaques for each individual, or is it just the branches?
Just the 6 branches.
I thought that the whole idea of this was, what do we do with all the pictures that we had?
We're not doing anything.
No, but I thought that was the original idea.
It was,
That we were
it
gonna
was
do.
the original, but it was
And now it's
turned out.
it's totally different.
That's when they were gonna do something inside,
Yeah, now
and we changed it
totally
to outside.
Yeah. This is,
I move we table this for next meeting.
yeah, I'd like
Have
to
a
hear from the
second?
people that designed it.
Okay, all in favor of tabling till the next meeting?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, Karen?
Luciola, Casuarina Drive. I missed it. When did we vote to do this? Because I know it's gonna cost what, $20,000, $30,000, right?
We never voted.
We never voted
We
yet.
voted
Okay, well,
to-
my,
Excuse
This
me,
is-
we voted to have,
someone look
appoint
into
a
it.
veterans committee, come up with the ideas, and present a proposal.
Okay. As an American citizen, and I am very patriotic, I believe that we are not a VFW community. I believe that this is a waste of money. We have a flagpole out front. And to put up and to spend that kind of money, I'd rather go to disabled vets if you want to donate money. I mean, why put cement in the ground and more flags and this and that? I don't get it. I think it would be a waste of money.
Thank you.
Dale Thompson, Hachita Drive. I know I only have 3 minutes, so I'm gonna take the first minute to ask every one of you. Do all of you have a flag flying right now out in the front of your house? How many don't? Yeah, how many don't have a flag outside their house right now, today?
holidays, you're talking about right
No, I'm talking about today, an American flag. Are you flying one outside your house?
Condos are not allowed.
You can't have the American flag in your condo? I'd move the hell out of there real quick.
Mine's packed.
the thing that I'm trying to say is, the first year I moved here, I think it was, I put this big thing on Facebook because 4th of July came and another holiday came, and I looked up and down the streets and I saw 1 or 2 flags. When my flag wasn't out on a holiday because it got ripped and I didn't have money for a new one, I went on Facebook and put an apology. I just remembered right now, after having some stuff done to my house recently, that my flag is in the garage. But you can bet but if it was a holiday, my flag would be out. If we can't even get half of the people in Timber Oaks, and I can tell you right now, I don't care what day it is, whether it's 4th of July, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, we do not have enough flags flying in this community. And I wish I would see more flags flying at somebody's house. Go spend $14 or whatever and fly a flag yourself to represent all the men and women that died for this country. Not spend all this money on something to put in Timber Oaks when half the people in here don't even have their own flag. I think that's just absolutely,
Thank you.
Los Santos. Okay, so you want to spend all this money for a veterans monument, yet the drainage out here at the pool and the walkway needs to be addressed and fixed first. So I think before you go wasting money on luxury items like monuments, maybe you should fix the walkway outside the door by the pool and that drainage.
That drainage ditch is under warranty and has been addressed. The contractor is coming back to address those pavers and the something portion of the drain. That's been taken care of.
Well, I don't think.
And the board has not voted to spend a dime yet.
Well,
As Ed said,
yeah.
they only asked the committee to put the information together and present it to the board. They have
Yeah.
not voted to spend a dime on it.
In the future, I would like for you to look at items that you'd like to get as, do we really need that? Or should we save that money for something we really need that breaks down the road? There's lots of things falling apart here. You're just wasting money. And we're gonna need to fix something else, and then we're not gonna have it, and we're gonna have to dip into this, dip into that. So priorities on what we need in the community. I don't need a monument. Like Dale said, I don't even have a flag.
Thank you for your input.
Ellie Malili, Gold Pine Drive. I agree with LeMay. I think this is too much money. I agree with Karen and with Tanya. I think this is a big decision to make, to spend that money for this. We always have treated our veterans very well with one day where we get a lot of people and we give them much thanks and whatnot. And if you're actually going to consider that, it seems to me that there's different types of monuments that might answer our patriotism without spending $14,000. And perhaps the board would like to see different requests of different type of, without going overboard. I don't know if you've done that or you've just decided this on your own. But it's a big decision to make. You talked about putting all their names, and putting pictures up would not be good at all. It would be messy looking. So I think, I do agree you should think about this very closely and maybe just come up with something loving and not as expensive. Thanks.
Thank you, Ellie.
Brad Wise, like 7024. There's a lot of people that want to fly their own flags. But, I see on every Veterans Day, or every day that someone dies, people do not lower their flags to half mast. If you want to do this properly, you should, on certain days that require it, lower those flags to half mast. You should be able to put something out to the community just before those holidays, or before somebody's death, that they require that people put up their flags at half mast, that we notify all the people to show their respect by showing them and lowering their flags to half mast.
Thank you, Ron.
I agree with Ron. I remember my husband was always very conscious about honoring a certain Veterans Day, and we used to have a flag. I don't have one now because it broke. We have a picture of the flag. Indeed, he was very respectful of
Thank you, Ellie.
lowering it half mast.
Okay, moving on to Unfinished business.
Another committee?
Oh. Sorry.
That's okay.
I don't have you on my agenda.
No, usually you say any other committee, so I thought I'd be able to sneak in that way, sorry. Anyway, Karen Fritsch, 8310 Dip Way, and I'm here on behalf of the Better Living Committee. And we're going to have our 7th annual health fair in October 24th from 12:30 to 1. We have over 30 vendors again. And of course, we include food and door prizes and the 24th of October. And we're going to have shots by Be Well Pharmacy again. And I'm not sure, we're going to have flu shots. I don't know what other shots they're going to have. We're still in conversation with them. Oh, yeah, no, not those shots. Vaccinations. I don't know, though, if we got enough money, maybe we could do some shots. Yeah. And, you know, our feedback every year has been very good. So this leads me to talk about the board. Last year, you had given us a donation towards the snacks and the food. And so I'm back here again asking for a donation. You gave us 200 last year, and we just kind of squeezed things in. And of course, with inflation, things have gone up again. And so, yeah, LeMay, you know what I'm going for. Anyway, we were hoping maybe you could spare like 300 this year for us.
I make a motion, we donate 300 towards the health care committee.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay.
Carried.
And thank you, because this is a well-attended.
Times that you get for that thing?
That's 30 to 1.
10:30.
Yeah. Okay, and I just wanted to give a plug. Next week, we're having Chet Pietras in. He's one of our residents. He's going to do the Medicare options, explain what they are. We're having it at 6 o'clock at night here on the 27th, Wednesday, the 27th, so that people who are still working but looking into Medicare will be able to come. We had him once before. He gives a very good talk, and even if you already are in the system, it's really interesting to understand better what those different options are that they have. So I know I was already in the system and learned a lot from it, and he's a very good presenter. We're also going to have the AARP driver's course in January, and right now it's tentatively the 10th of January, but I have to confirm that. And so, and we're also looking at other speakers for other times. So busy committee, and I have to thank all my committee members. They're the ones that go out and rustle up all these vendors and procure things for us. So I just want to put a plug in for them too. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Is there any other committee reports? Okay, unfinished business. Jack?
The only thing under unfinished business is that area over in the curved area by the school entrance.
Dimber Park?
Yeah, we contacted the county. The county's not gonna do anything over there. They put an observer on it, said they didn't notice that much traffic. The simplest idea I can think of is just you put a sign over there that says no parking on the median.
Mike.
I said, I think I've recommended the best option and the least expensive option. You can't put sod there because there's no irrigation, won't last. You put a sign there that says no parking on the grass median, you know, with the arrows pointing both ways. That's about all we can do. I mean, I don't think the county wants us putting curb stops, stones, or anything like that on their right of way.
Go ahead, LeMay.
I went over and looked at it, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think there's anything we need to do about it. I don't even think, if we put a sign up there, people are still going to want to drop their kids off or take care of that, and that's just gonna be another impediment or something that, is gonna get run over or hit or cause more problems. I think we leave it as is. I really didn't think it was bad.
Any other comments? Mary?
Well, I went by and looked at it again, and I noticed that there is some of that grass type stuff there and part of it. And I was thinking about maybe just putting about every 2 feet, some of that grass and then mulching it all in the day. I think Driftwood Village could even pay for that.
I just want to say again, without any irrigation over there, anything you plant is subject to drought and die. So I would caution about what you planted over there.
Well, we have those grass in front of our house and it's pretty hardy. We don't ever usually water it. So I think once it's established, it might be fine.
Well, that's the Lord's call.
LeMay?
The only problem I have with that, Barry, is then where are they gonna be? When they go to drop their kids off or do whatever, where are they gonna be? I don't wanna cause problems for them dropping off or picking up their kids,
Well, people in Driftwood park on the streets anyway. What's the difference in dropping off your kids?
Well, you would know.
Donna?
I make a motion that if Driftwood wants to pay for it, let them pay for it.
Okay, we have a second?
I second it.
Okay.
May I ask Jack a quick question then? You said that the county wouldn't do anything and you said not about putting no stones or anything else there. Are we going to be in opposition to what they're recommending?
The grass? I don't think soft plantings would be an issue. Boulders, curb stops and the like would probably be an issue.
All right, all in favor on the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, new business. Deed restriction, letter from Al.
This is mine. Presently, the association in doing deed restriction enforcement has a 3-letter policy. You get a first notice, second notice, and a final notice before it even goes to finding. And you're out like, what, Deb, 45 days before it would even be considered going to finding? It's my personal opinion that sending out 3 different letters when these residents are knowing they're going to have another letter coming, they're just going to wait until the next letter and the next letter before they address it. I'm recommending we go to a 1-letter format, giving the resident a 30-day opportunity to correct the deed restriction. It also comes with a response form where they can respond, and if there's a reasonable excuse why they can't do it within 30 days, they can send it in. They have a death in the family, somebody's in the hospital, there's many acceptable reasons why they may need an extension. But this would cut down a lot of wasted paper, postage, time, and effort on multiple letters. And there's a sample of the letter in the packet that I gave you folks. And I'm really hoping that you will adopt this process over the present process, which I think is very cumbersome.
Isn't this in our,
Questions?
isn't this written in our documents?
I don't think we're crossing.
We have some kind of policy already written, something's written about how we're supposed to do this. I'm not sure if it's state mandated or it's in our policies.
No, there's nothing in the state mandates that
No,
would,
we've got it maybe in our.
I haven't seen anything in the documents
Nothing in the
that
documents?
regulates how
Okay.
violations are notified.
Just thought we had something written about this.
Then would we have to add that to our rules and regulations?
No, it's just a policy that the board would adopt.
There's a policy.
Okay, Lemay?
I think it's, I think it's a great idea. I mean, everyone knows the system. So if they don't like the system or if they're doing it just to be smart, then, they just wait. And the third time or at the end of, at this point, we're at 6 weeks, plus the cost of mailing for each time we send it, which is 3 times. And then we go into fining and then there's more mailing. So I see no
Which is,
reason why.
requires a certified letter when you get there.
Yes, so I think this is a great idea. I think it should be adopted. And I think 30 days is plenty. And you also have the option on the second page of this where you can say, maybe, I won't be back until 5-6 weeks and I will take care of it then. And we have the option of saying that's fine, and excusing that. I don't think there's any reason not to adopt this.
Rick?
I lost the pad on this thing. Yeah, are you saying that from this letter, if they don't do anything, then it comes to the board here to either fine them or do something if we want?
Yes, as long as they have, especially if they don't respond.
There's no other notice going to the,
No, the letter clearly spells out, they have 30 days. The letter clearly spells out. If they need an extension, they can fill out on the response form what their reasonable request is for.
but the next step on our part is to take some kind of action or decide
Yes.
not to.
Yes.
And I just think that you need to have this reviewed by our attorney to make sure that's enough notice, for us to do that. That's all. Notice.
30
is one word.
days.
30 days.
Timing, I'm not saying, but it's not going out by certified mail or anything.
The standard, community standards is a 14-day correction.
Fine, I'm just saying that there's legal notice, and if you don't have legal notice, you get down the road, then you got a $3,000 or $4,000 fine against somebody, and then an attorney will tell us, well, where's your notice? And you say, well, we mailed out the letter. I want to make sure now at this point that this letter suffices for that, and I think our attorney needs to tell us that.
Jack, didn't you say that this was used previously at another place where you
Yes.
were?
Yeah, where I was at for 13 years. They were on a 2-letter process and running into the same issue, just letter after letter. And they converted over to this. We used it for a good 10, 11 years.
So I'm sure because of that, it had to have been legal. I'm sure there.
Yeah, we
And
had
the other-
stuff that went to the attorney based off of these letters.
And when you're at the end of the 30 days, they get it certified that it's going to fining? Is that correct or not?
Well,
Yes.
they can be notified that they're going to.
Okay, and then at that point, they have the opportunity to come in and argue with the fining committee or state why it shouldn't go.
Correct.
Right.
So there's 3 opportunities, the first, then the certified, and then the hearing with the finance committee. And they have 30 days to find, okay. And at this point, the only difference is they're not getting the 2 letters, they're not getting 45 days, they're getting 30.
Right.
Okay.
It seems to me, there's something in writing about how we're doing it, and I don't know if it's in the documents or not. I know there's
I have
something.
not seen
written.
anything in the documents that state.
You're not seeing anything?
In the documents, it states how we have to proceed with the fining.
I'm sorry. I
Okay,
can't
we're
hear.
obligated in the documents on how we proceed with the fining letters.
The fining letter.
The fining letters, yes. We have to follow the documents with the 14-day notice certificating the letter going out, but not prior to that.
Not how we go about doing the fining.
Correct. So
We
right
had
now,
some kind of policy about how we did that, right?
you had in 2016.
We wrote up a policy.
No, you did not. You just changed the format of the deed restriction letters.
The format.
And that is what Jack is presenting right now, to change the format of the deed restriction letter to go to 1 letter as opposed to 3. So you have 1 letter,
Okay.
and then the next letter has to be certified after the board approves that letter to go to fining. So we'll have a 2-letter process instead of 4.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm
Right, Jack?
Worried about the snow.
I move that we accept this system.
Any other discussion?
Well, I was just gonna say, you've added in that you're gonna send a notice by a certified mail before you have any action done by the board. So I think that covers the point I brought up.
Yeah, everybody's gonna receive proper notice of what's going down.
And I don't know, I'm concerned about the snowbirds. I mean, they get due notice and they're not here, you only give them 30 days, how they gonna?
Well, it's unfortunate that even in the owner's absence, their property must be maintained. If they can't do it personally themselves, they need to hire somebody to do it. They're responsible for the property being responsible.
Okay, so they have a chance to come back to us and say, hey, I'm gonna.
Yeah, on the response form, they can say, I'll be back on such and such a date, and I will take care of it immediately upon that time. And, I can consult with some board members and say, is that satisfactory? We work, I'll work with people, like I said, people's in the hospital, they lose a family member.
Okay.
There's reasonable excuses out there.
Miss Eileen, if you look at the letter and the last paragraph where it says failure to comply with association rules and guidelines to correct the work, you see that last paragraph?
Okay.
Okay, so that's currently on our third letter. We took that expert, so that's what's going out on the third letter.
We'll keep that.
So it's still notifying the same way. It's just not the third letter, it's just in one letter.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other board members have a comment on this? Seeing none, I'll go to our
Lucy
member,
Olick,
Karen.
at Serena Drive. This is long overdue. I'm happy about this. Praise God. Anyway, maybe we should put this in the next newsletter and then repeat it in January. So then everybody is advised that they need to assign a management company or a neighbor to be responsible for their home when they leave for the season. And this is so long overdue. I've been here 15 years and I am beyond ecstatic.
Okay, no more discussion. We'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Reserve study.
Okay, it's been since 2017 since you've received an update on the reserve study. And as we all know, inflation has driven the cost of building materials and everything through the roof. I am recommending that the board spend the $3,600 to Florida Reserve Study and Appraisal Corporation to get an updated reserve study to make sure our reserve funding is at the proper level where it needs to be.
Renee?
I read the letter and the only thing I see is, $3,600 is a good chunk of change. And they're saying this is for a 30-year time frame. Well, this was done 6 years ago. So I don't see why we have to have another one done at this time.
Because of the pricing, as I said, the cost, the inflation has significantly risen. The cost estimates the 2017 study was based on, I guarantee you, are now obsolete.
Well, but they change, they fluctuate all the time. So even if we do this now, I notice the price of housing is starting to come down. Just in the Timber Oaks area, houses that were selling for a lot more than they are now are sitting. So I don't know, I just think $3,600 is a lot of money, but.
Eileen?
Is it not recommended to do the research studies every 3 years?
It's
That's what I thought, it just was saying recommendation.
I was gonna bring that, that is correct.
And the fee being charged is, again, industry standard. It's across the board. I've dealt with numerous research study companies. That is the going rate on updates.
I'm not arguing the cost of it, it's just that, if they say this is it for the next 30 years, and then 3 years later, we have to spend it again. It just doesn't make much sense to me.
I think, well, there's some things I can answer here and some things I can't. It is recommended every 3 years. We thought that basically was excessive and not really needed. However, it's been, 6 years at this time, Jack?
Yeah, 2017 was the last one.
All right. And what they do is they go in and they review, like, maybe in that year, they said it would cost, $45,000 to do our roof. Well, they come in today and they look at and get the pricing, and maybe now it's 70 or 80,000, I don't know. And they do things like they go through all that. It's a lot of detail, but they're doing it all the time. Remember, they're not just doing one where we'd have to send somebody out, make 10 calls, they have it. So we are dealing with professionals to do that. I'm not surprised at the price, quite frankly.
Yeah, well, I'd like to say too, if you consider the asphalt shingles and asphalt pavement are oil products. What's happened to oil prices?
Yeah,
They're ripping
but
us
it goes
off.
into not just roofs. I wasn't done. Doing Jack. But it goes into a lot more than that. Also, this letter's been out and it says scope of service. I have not received anybody that's made any suggestion that this scope of service is not complete. I've reviewed it and I feel it's fairly complete, but if somebody had any suggestions, I'd bring them up and mention them here. But this is the same one, the same company we had do this one 6 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were very well received at that time, I will say that. And I have to recommend, yes, that we do this.
Yeah, and it's cheaper to get the update than it is to have another company perform a complete reserve study.
6,000 to 8,000.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we adopt and I guess it's hire Florida Reserve Study and Appraisal to do our reserve study update as presented in a letter of September 5th, 2023 for $3,600.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mulch purchase.
All right, that's me again. Like I said, we got all the palmettos ground out over by the tennis courts, bocce courts, behind the shuffleboard courts and the hedge over there. They all been ground out. The crew, the staff has cleaned them all up in preparation for the installation of mulch. Now, we do have other beds, the front of the parking lot over here, the area where the county left that open area over here under the trees that need mulch as well. Mark calculated about approximately 85 cubic yards to do the job. I made some phone calls, Mark made some phone calls, saying who we can get the best deal from. Mark found a company that'll give us the small pine bark mulch to match what we have for $30 a yard with a $25 a load delivery fee. We require 4 loads, so all in all, the price of the mulch, including delivery, is $2,650, and there shouldn't be enough mulch in there left over to touch up the areas around the community center that need.
Comments? Chris?
I move that we accept this bid for $2,600 for mulch.
We have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Fines and suspension.
In a minute.
Debbie has.
Sorry, I didn't check my mailbox, but Debbie's bringing the paper in, so.
You each have a copy of the outstanding violations that are before you today.
Yeah, I just need the paper to.
Yeah, we can do that for you. Why don't we go to correspondence? Okay, we have a request for event parking from, Day Spring Academy.
Yes, and unfortunately, Dave already said, because they thought your meeting was last week, they're not gonna be able to do that this year because they don't have time to notify parents if you guys approved it or not. Ed, I took your suggestion and told the gal on the phone, what about the road for the maintenance shed? She said she would look at that and get back to me. And another thing you need to consider is that during the month of October, when they want to do it, that's when bocce's kicking in. And that parking lot's going to be full. You're not going to have room for 30 additional cars in there. So I made the recommendation of parking down the maintenance road over there. And she said she'd get back to me. But they're not doing it this year, but they would look at that for next year.
What time does bocce start?
When does it start or what time?
I think it starts at 9.
Anybody play bocce here?
October 16th.
Yeah, the time, is it 9 or 10? 10, right? Yeah, I was right, 10 o'clock. And then again at 1.
Well, that would be over before bocce comes.
Yeah, because they're saying 7:15 to 8:30 a.m. on their request.
Okay, so we don't need to deal with this now anyway, since it's, right?
Yeah, she's supposed to get back to me and let me know whether they, well, like you said, that the maintenance road is actually closer to the school than here. You save some legwork.
And also under correspondence, we had a letter come in requesting that we change the dates on the temperature change for the pool. Is there any discussion on that?
Do we have
Is
paperwork?
Kathy Lockridge here? You want to come up to the microphone and?
I thought that picture. No.
Bill is asking, is the temperature set by law? I don't believe it is. Does anyone know?
No, it's not. It's set by choice.
We had made a change. Turn it on.
Or get closer.
It's on.
Get closer, okay. We had made the change to put the summertime temperature during the summertime defined June to September. And this year, they had to petition and make it cooler earlier because it was so darn hot this year and everything. And I think it is really hot. So I'm just petitioning to move that date because our summer here really does start to June 1st instead of waiting until the June 21st. That's all I'm petitioning. I'm not changing the temperatures. I'm not changing anything. I'm just moving it forward. It's really darn hot.
I think we basically do that. We set it for the first day of summer, which is.
No, it's not done till the 21st.
What's the first day of summer?
21st.
Well, yeah, that's what we have now.
That's how it's set now.
Oh, okay, I see.
So, and what we do is if it gets extremely hot early, we just change it to the first. So that's where we had it set. And same with the end. I mean, we're soon supposed to turn it back up, which at this point, we really don't need.
There was some kind of delay in getting the board members to agree. That's all. So I thought, well, why don't we just make it?
John has a note on his calendar on my desk now that on the 21st, the temperature goes up to 88.
Right.
Yeah. At this point.
Yep. That's correct.
88 is the winter temperature, 86.
I think too, it needs to be changed. We can change it to the first, and if we find that we have a cool.
We can change it.
Then we can always put it back up. It only takes a good day and a half until the temperature regulates to what it's set, so.
I just
That's a good
remember that there was some kind of delay that they had to talk to a bunch of people to get this approved. And it really didn't happen until like the 19th or something, so it was kind of way too late.
I don't remember what happened, but it's not something that takes a board meeting to change, but we can make it the first and change it if we have to, and I think we can put it back to the 21st of September. No, it's warm.
It's warm right now.
It's warm now, and we didn't.
And we're gonna put it up higher. On the 21st, it's gonna go up to 88 degrees. It's gonna go up 2 more degrees. It's gonna be 2 degrees hotter than what it is right now in 2 days.
Or boil eggs.
Why don't we consider just letting the manager, why don't we give him a fluctuation? The manager can decide on that, give a range or something. I mean, to have the board have to come make a decision as to.
That's where it came to 2 years ago. Nobody wanted to do that. They didn't want to get involved. So I brought it to the board 2 years ago.
I think the concern was that, you have someone come in, oh, the pool's too cold, can you raise it up? Oh, the pool's too hot, can you lower it down? So that's why we originally set the dates of June 21st to September 20th. So that those are, kind of in stone. We could set those to June 1st and October 1st.
Yeah, yay.
And then, if there's a problem where it's too cold or too hot, we can adjust it.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Do we need a motion on that?
I move that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
here we go.
All complaints, you take them to Karen. Kathy out there, she'll take care of it for you. Okay.
Okay, moving back to fines and suspensions.
I make a motion to fine the owner of 10967 Pepper Tree Lane $50 a day for each day they're in violation of Toxis covenants, up to $5,000 in accordance with Florida statute and the governing documents.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I make a motion that we fine 11013 Water Oak Drive for $50 a day for each day they are in violation of Toxis covenants, up to $5,000 in accordance with Florida statute and the governing documents.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I make a motion that we fine the owner of 10628 Encino Court $50 a day for each day they are in violation of Toxis covenants, up to $5,000 in accordance with Florida statute and governing documents.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I make a motion that we fine the owner of 10628 Encino Court. Fine the owner $50 a day for each day they are in violation of Toxis covenants, up to $5,000 in accordance with Florida statute and the governing documents.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Two different violations. The second violation is for maintenance on the exterior of the home, and the first one was for the driveway. And I know, looking at this, because we go through this every week, while going through the findings, a lot of times you can't see it, these pictures are not definitive. If there's any question, we either pull it up on the computer, or Ed and I will drive around to the property and either okay it or deny the violation.
Yeah, I prefer that you look at it personally, because a
Yeah.
picture doesn't always do it justice.
Yeah,
On the first one, it had about maintenance of,
driveway.
I know you've already done it, because it went by with me. Appears to be holiday decorations at your home, which must be removed.
Where is that?
Decoration. That was the first one. Pepper Tree Lane.
Yeah.
And the picture I'm looking at shows violations, but not that.
Look at the lights.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You know, I had some problems with that too, because there are so many lights now that are put up everywhere. And it's hard to determine whether they're actual holiday decorations or not. And to be honest with you, in this picture, the mess on the right side of this house is ridiculous, and the Christmas lights but they're icicle lights. They're not just plain lights that go across or rope lights.
That's for Labor Day.
Yeah. Icicle, the snow's coming.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Open forum.
Dave Teller, I got a couple of things. Out here, when you pull into the parking lot, is there any way they could put grass there or something? Because it looks like hell. You pull in right out here.
Talking about where the county just repaired that area?
No, right out here. It's been like that for a long time. You can see the tree roots and everything. I know you can't put moss there, but it is, water is there, so then why can't you put grass? Just make it look a little better.
We can look into that.
And the other thing is, I brought this up before, and you guys treated the lake. Shouldn't that be done like on a timely basis, because it's back? It looks like hell again. It really does. The lake looks bad.
Yeah, I have been on the environmental company about that the hydrilla is getting out of control. I even looked into, like we did 15 years ago, about putting carp in the lake. Well, which eat the hydrilla by the ton. Now, the last company we had, they put the carp in for no charge. Now they want over $2,000 for the permit and $30 a fish to put them in. But they have stepped up the treatments. Back me up, Debbie, if I'm right, they've stepped up twice a month now on their treatments. And I've been on the customer rep about the hydrilla in the lake. And he's saying, we're after it, we're after it, we're after it. So I've been on him about it.
Yeah, because it really looks bad again. That's why I was wondering if they were
is.
doing it on a regular basis. Because
I think
it looked good after you guys did treat it. Now it's back again.
Because the weather has been so screwy. It's
I
been
know.
so hot, so humid, so little rain.
And I got one more quick one. I instead of jumping up every time somebody says something. One more. When you said something about the VA, I think you're right about that, because when my stepfather died, I went through a bunch of paperwork and I got a plaque for free. So I don't know why the VA wouldn't maybe give us some kind of a deal on that. You might want to look into that. That's it.
Thanks, Dave.
I'm addressing the Jasmine entrance, Maricopa. Those backyards, the trees are starting to grow right up to the road on both sides. And I understand the center is the county. The sides, in my understanding, is it belongs to the residents. And it's starting to look very thick and overgrown.
I noticed that yesterday when I was going out, and I was going to ask Jack, who is responsible? We need to look into that. Yes.
Maybe on county property. I'll have to look
Yeah, I
at it.
don't know.
I came to the clubhouse Sunday morning to use the pool, and I noticed there was trash bags on the ground right outside the clubhouse by the little bench you spoke on. I'm just wondering why Live Oaks couldn't put their trash in the dumpster, and they just left it on the ground for critters, rats, roaches, and whatever else to get into.
I got a notice about that and I checked into it. I thought it was right outside on the sidewalk by the gym.
Yeah.
And so we came out, if it was you're talking around the corner by the bench, the smoking bench. I did check into that. We had, for the first time, 2 new people that did the dance, and I'm sure they didn't know what to do with it. Because I walked out, I was in the pool and came out at 11 and they were not along the sidewalk, so I couldn't figure out where they were. But if they were around the corner, they probably thought that's where they had to put them. I don't know. We had a couple of problems with new people and talked to Live Oaks, and they need to change some of the directions for new people that are starting. It wasn't done deliberately. It was a mistake.
Well, just because of the bugs and the coyotes and all the critters, like, we shouldn't just leave trash laying around by the clubhouse.
I was just wondering, since you've done away with correspondence as part of the agenda, which kind of gave people an opening to,
We haven't done away with it. It's still on.
well, it's not on there. Last month you said you did away with it.
No, we never did, Ellie, and it was on there. We did 2 correspondence today.
Yeah, well, it's on there now?
Yeah, we just did 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
That was
All right, so anyway, the point I was trying to make was that, I had some new neighbors and they've left since then. but they said, how do you talk about reporting someone or whatever? So I said, well, we used to have the little green cards, which was a way for residents to vent if they were unhappy with things going on without facing a neighbor and speaking up. So I'm wondering if perhaps you would reconsider and reinstate the green cards. I don't know, unless Jack has an idea that any other places that he worked at, they might have something where residents could feel comfortable speaking up, and dropping the green card in, a signature not required because people don't want to get involved. No one likes to be called a troublemaker.
Well,
Yeah.
I know what you're
So
saying. You
just
want to-
having you consider that, you can't, this is this won't go into the minutes anyway, so it's just something. It's been talked about on and off by different people that are in favor of reinstating the green cards. So just to give it another thought.
Well, you're talking about an anonymous complaint.
Yeah, if you don't want to be anonymous, it used to be a choice. If you wanted to sign your name, you could. If you didn't want to sign your name, you didn't have to, right? So that was the way it was left. But sometimes people just need to write it to vent it. And there's so many people are really frightened of getting involved, and so they don't want to put their names down. But it worked. Over the years, some boards voted that they had to sign it, and some boards voted not to sign it. And then some said, well, it could be a choice. If you want to sign it, okay. If you want to be contacted after you got the green card, then you definitely signed it and put your phone number. So.
Well, that would be a board decision if they wanted to.
We did
enforce that policy.
we changed it to take them away. This is not, it's not your job to police your neighbors. I have had people come to me with things, and if it is a problem, I have looked into it. If it is something that our person that goes around and does the violation should be doing, that is their job, not yours. That is to stop the bickering between neighbors. If it becomes that difficult and it's brought to our attention, we look into it. Other than that, let her do her job. You be a neighbor to the people around you.
I think it came up because many people were complaining that she wasn't doing her job. And because there's so many complaints about this not being done, that not being done. And I says, well, it doesn't hurt to ask, I do realize that years ago we had residents that were deed restriction people. I was on, we have different committees for different villages. And then the state legislature, the state statute said you cannot have residents citing other residents, right? So this would be a form of not really citing them, just reporting them, and then perhaps the driver would use those, although when we had them, she wasn't using them.
Ma'am, I can assure you that since the short time I've been here,
Yeah.
I meet every Wednesday with the licensed manager that goes out and does the surveys of the property. I can assure you, she's stepping it up. In May, you'll see by the stack of letters in my office.
I heard already.
Yeah, I'm really pushing for the deed restriction aspect of it. This is a deed restricted community.
Mhm.
It needs to look like one.
Yeah.
Many of the homeowners are in compliance, many are, but there's a handful out there that what I call problem children that really need to be addressed. And I'm asking that this manager that goes out every Wednesday really step up the pace.
So some of them are using the Facebook for venting, you'll get people on Facebook will say, how come this isn't being done? So, but if you're stepping it up now, that's a step forward. Then,
Yeah, well,
right?
personally, I don't believe in
Yeah, they vent on
having
Facebook.
a venting Facebook page as productive at all. I just don't.
Okay, thank you, Ellie. Let's do the next one.
Well, I'm kind of nervous. I'm Anita Barnes. I'm in Dollar Lake 1, and that's basically a problem child. I'm really trying to learn and understand the right procedures and processes and how to get things taken care of. I've brought some complaints to the board's attention.
over there. I've tried following the advice. I seem to be meeting with resistance at every darned angle I'm dealing with, including with the former Mr. Atwell. We have every violation you can think of. It's a real mess, including the board who exempts themselves from the rules and the restrictions. And don't we all have bylaws because everybody's supposed to follow the bylaws and the governing documents? If we do, then we need to have recourse. I met with a lady who was president years ago. Her question to me is, well, who's our lawyer? I said, I don't know. Who's our lawyer?
Well, that'd be a
We
question,
have a
that'd be a
lawyer.
question. for your
Apparently
board
we
of
don't.
directors. Be a question for your board of directors.
Well, our board of
Or
directors.
your
is-
management company, they can provide you the same information. As for the board members exempting themselves, that's not legal at all. That's something that,
Well,
yeah,
who-
I hold the board members to the same standard I hold all the residents to. I've been doing this 27 years, I've written up a lot of presidents, vice presidents, and treasurers, and secretaries of associations, because they're in violation of rules.
Then perhaps I should meet with you.
Yes.
I'd be more than happy to talk to your manager. I'm not gonna get into your board business. I mean, that's not my job, not what I'm here for. It's unfortunate if you're having those problems, but really that's kind of out of our
Who do I
hands.
turn to? I mean, it's, our board
The
is
only other
not
option you
following
have,
the rules.
the
and
only other
neither
option
is
you
the
have
management
is the state.
And I've gone to the state. I'm trying to work with the state. It is a lengthy process.
Yes, it is.
And it's very complicated. Basically, I've made reports to the county code enforcement about different problems. County code enforcement comes out, they say, it's privately owned property. We try to stand back, work with your
Yeah,
governing.
Code enforcement doesn't like getting involved in
No, they don't.
deed restrictions. Now, if you have a blatant violation, like we had one where I sent code enforcement to, the grass was 3 feet tall, property's been abandoned even by the new owner. Code enforcement did go out and tag the house. But they're not going to get involved in deed restriction violations.
Well, we have those issues.
Well, I think, unfortunately, the state is your only option that you really have.
Go to your representatives.
Department of Business and Professional Regulation is the one you have.
But
to
when
go
I
to.
can't get anywhere with the board or the management company, and I'm telling you, there's malfeasance, there's collusion, there's kickbacks. It's a mess. I've talked with an attorney who represents through the Office of Aging. Her advice was, you have a lot of problems and to call the ombudsman directly. Well, you can't call the ombudsman. I tried, you can't. But again, it's the state and it's not like this isn't common.
It's a large bureaucracy.
It is.
But the DPPR, Department of Business Professional Regulation, they're the ones that oversee the condos and hear complaints such as yours. And that's the route I would advise you to take. Yeah, because unfortunately, I or this board of directors, we can't get involved in your association's business. You're an independent entity and a community of your own.
Then why are we paying dues to Timber Oaks? Why are our
For the use of-
bylaws and our governing documents
For the-
Timber Oaks?
For the use of these facilities is what you pay for.
Yes. I've been to the county clerk's office and I've looked through the records. There is no Dollar Lake entity of its own. It's under the Timber Oaks umbrella. It's part of the privately owned
If you're
Timber
a
Oaks.
condominium association, if you go to sunbiz.org and then search by name, put your condominium association in there, it more than likely will pop right up.
Would it be registered in the county?
No, it's a state.
Why would our condo association be separate from?
Timber Oaks is registered with the state.
Honey, I live in Fairway Villas, we're condos. we've got the same kind of issues. We've been after the people and after the people. They'll come and pull the weeds over here and leave weeds over there, or pull the little weeds but leave the big ones. They're up like as tall as the bushes. I've had to go to the management companies, go to the managers' bosses and everything else. I finally threatened, look, I'll get the news lady out here if I have to, but this guy has to get taken care of. We waited 6 months to get a pothole fixed, things like that. Our roofs are going down the basket.
But your properties look very well maintained. Ours is starting to look like a property in the hood.
There's some in Fairway Villas that have no reserves anymore, and people can't buy in there because there's no reserve money. So somebody's getting into the reserve money, but there's nothing that the rest of us can do because there's actually 6 different managers for the Fairway Villa apartments. But this board up here has no say over the rules that the Fairway has because we've got our own rules and regulations.
Yeah, but like I said, if you want to see the registered agent, we're supposed to list who the registered agent is, management company, and all your board of directors should be listed on sunbiz.org.
Oh, I know who they are.
Yeah,
We know who
search by
they are. They're a big multi-state company, Century. Yeah.
Okay. Really don't know. I will try to call you.
All right, like I said, try the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. That's your best choice.
Oh,